Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Turfway Park here on Friday. It is the 10th of March, 2023. Gonna look at the seventh race from Turfway, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. And remember to join me tomorrow for my Tampa Derby preview. But Turfway meeting's kind of going to, it's starting to wind down just a tiny bit. We still have some great racing with the Spiral in 2 weeks, but just around the corner we have Keelan in about a month's time, so I can't wait for that. And of course, Churchill. And looking at that first Churchill condition book, wow, those races look like they're going to be quite nicely run. So can't wait for that. But let's look at the seventh race from Turfway, which is a very good race. It's an allowance optional claimer per $74,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never won $7,500 other than main claim starter, which never won 2 races here. Claim price $25,000. Field of 13 horses entered. 13 is an AE, so 12 will go to the main track. The distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.25 miles on the Turfway main track. 2,000 meters, 1.25 miles main track on the Tapeta. And something I've noticed this year at Turfway, they've been carting a lot of these long distance 1.25 mile races, which I absolutely adore. To the point of this year, last year I was wondering how many 1.25 mile races are basically marathon trip races are they carting here in the United States. So I said to myself, starting January 1st, I'm going to keep track of how many they're carting all across the country, going from 1.25 miles and up. So that could be a 2 mile race, 1.5 mile race, 1.75 mile race, and by the end of the year, I just want to see how many we're running. I guess about 300 a year. But I think in this country we need to have more 1.25 mile races marathon trip races, because they're always fun races. But a lot of people, I did notice last week, a lot of people hated that late pick six at the Rainbow Six at Gulfstream having 2 marathon races. But what can you do? When you have a jackpot payout, you need to make it as difficult as possible. It's horse racing. You have to make it difficult to win. It's not easy money. You got to study. It's basically like my teacher always said. It's an open book test. Your answers are right here. You just have to find which one you're going to use. But back to the subject of the Turfway race, the seventh race. I'm going to go with the 5-horse Foreign Relations. Let's go 5, 8, 10, 6 in the superfecta. 5, 8, 10, 6 super. Top selection of 5-horse Foreign Relations. 5-year-old gelding by Caraconite here. Connor Murphy trains. Declan Cannon gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 16th February locally here at Turfway, 1.25 miles in a main special weight 70,000. He finally broke the maiden start number 4, winning by a length that day. He sat back early, stalking a quick pace in front of him. He slowly moved his way up at the top of the lane, and he got the job done. A very good run. Coming here facing winners for the first time, back to 1.25 miles. I think he could get the trip to win here today. Two back, he ran the 25th of January at Turfway, mile 16th in main special weight 70,000. He finished 4th by 2 3/4 lengths that day. He just kind of stalked that day and just couldn't keep up. I think he just had a little bit too close to that quick pace there. And then first off, the year and a half refreshing, 17th of December at Turfway, mile 16th in main special weight. He finished 3rd by length that day. He didn't have the best of trips early on. He moved a little bit late, but, first off the bench, he definitely needed the race. And then on debut, he ran at Ellis Park, 24th of July, 2021, 1.25 miles on the turf course in main special weight. He finished 2nd by 2 3/4 lengths. He was drawn stupidly wide, which is not ideal because the 1.25 mile race at Turfway at Ellis starts basically on the top of the turn, and you're basically starting on the outside fence. So this horse had to be pushed out wide. He didn't break so well, so he never got a good position, but he really closed up well late. He outran a 61-1 odds. You can see the horse for a shame for a whole year and a half later, but he's definitely been on, since coming back, he's been on the improve. He's trending well since the last race. At 10-1 first time winners, I'm going to use him. I think you also have to use the 8-horse here, Bluegrass Parkway. Going 1.25 miles here last month in optional 40. He finished 6th by 10 lengths that day, and he moved a little bit late, but I thought he just didn't have a lot of forwardly pace that day. Before that, early January, mile 16th in option 40. He finished 2nd by neck. Again, really closing up well, but he had to break well that day. And then actually won going 1.25 miles here in December in option 25. Winning by a nose, coming from nowhere. He really got the job done. Another horse, you should like the longer trip. I'm going to use him on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 7 from Turfway, let's take the 5-horse Foreign Relations. Give kudos to the 8-horse Bluegrass Parkway. 5, 8, 10, 6 super. 5, 8 in your multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.